JoJo! This is the last of my home! Take it from me!
You will not fight again, for you have nothing left with which to fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. After 5 long weeks of mediocre YouTube videos, we're finally here. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Joseph motherfucking Joestar is my first reason why part 2 is so enjoyable. He cracks jokes, he peeks on hags, which you know what channel you're watching, you love to see it, and just instantly brings so much life into the story. In the very first episode, we're introduced to him after this black Smokey steals his wallet, and I guess he just couldn't help himself. I still wonder why Hiraki decided to make him black, but whatever. And Joseph stops these 2 police officers that were rightfully trying to beat his ass. Joseph's just such a lovable character, but he is a bit of a pushover sometimes, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, though I could definitely see what side of the family he gets that from. Later on, we're introduced to Caesar. His role in the first couple episodes is to push Joseph's development for when they fight the Pillarmen. The rivalry between these two is refreshing, and I'm a huge fan of it. Giving Hiraki his flowers, you grow to love these 2 characters very quickly, and it never feels overdone or repetitive. Caesar goes from outshining Joseph to building him up to be one of the best characters in the entire series. I'm so glad it didn't turn into another part 1, because if I had to deal with another Jonathan, I would have crashed the fuck out. All the abilities felt very pure and original. Caesar's bubbles, Joseph's Hamon ballsack or whatever the fuck he used was awesome. Seeing Hamon being used to its full potential was something I wanted more of in Phantom Blood, and it looks fucking awesome. Lisa didn't have a very big role, like, at all. The creator Araki has mentioned her development was something he regrets, where especially in the later episodes, you could tell her entire character was almost completely scrapped. When Lisa takes over Caesar's spot as the side main character, maybe it's just her being a woman, but Joseph completely carries the rest of the season. Maybe if she was captured early on and they had to rescue her, it could have been more interesting for her character, but like most women, she just ended up being a nothing burger. Stroheim is fucking hilarious. I love how they just added a Nazi for comedic relief. Battle Tendency never fails to give you a good laugh. The earlier parts of JoJo do a great job pushing family legacy through all the characters. And I mean, obviously you have Joseph and Jonathan, but now you also have Caesar and his grandfather Will. Remember the mustache guy from part 1? They share similar traits that remind you of one another, and it's something that the other parts just don't have that I thought was cool. It makes the whole story feel a lot more natural and flow better episode to episode. The fight between Caesar and Wamu was beautiful, and there's a reason Caesar's death was the intro. I really wish we could have seen more of Caesar, because after he died, Joseph just undoubtedly carries the rest of the season. Now, Battle Tendency is short. It's like 17 fucking episodes, but I will say this. The story building is by far the best in the entire series. Now, I don't hate Villain of the Week. If you watched my part 3 video, I only hated it because the stands they fought were fucking terrible. But every episode has a purpose and every fight has meaning and sacrifice. The honor theme is hammered in a lot. We already talked about legacy, but Wamu's fighting spirit and his passion for combat made him feel like more of a real character compared to all the other Pillarmen. Jotaro, Josuke, and Giorno, to an extent, just spawn with their abilities, and there's no struggle early on that they have to overcome. One of my favorite parts of Battle Tendency was episode 16, where Joseph and Caesar are thrown into an oil rig and they have to train their Hamon abilities to climb out. A very random and subtle episode that was super enjoyable. Seeing the main characters suffer, learning to hone their abilities with the risk of death on the line was something that not a lot of other parts have. Now I will say this, Battle Tendency is really fucking stupid, and it really helps the emotional scenes later on stand out. As a character like Joseph that's very energetic and comedic, breaking down into tears gives it a lot more emotion to the audience. There's an episode where Joseph just fucking crawls away from a fight versus the Pillarmen. Like, what even fucking was that? Brilliant writing, and I wish Araki did this more in some of the later parts. I mean, serious stories are cool, and I know it's hard to make women funny, but at least give us something. The Pillarmen get a lot of hate in the JoJo community, but anybody that thinks that is a fucking idiot. The Pillarmen aren't as chaotic or charismatic as Dio or Kira, but manage to have some of the best fights in the entire series. Wamu is probably the coolest, most underrated villain in the entire show. He respects Caesar and Joseph and gives them an opportunity because he sees their potential, all because he's an honest Jeet that just wants a cool fight. The horse race fight was something people don't talk about enough. It had the hype, it had the emotion, it was motion. And now Cars. I love Cars, but if I'm being totally honest, his character isn't that great. I made this point in my part 1 video where villains that are just pure evil isn't something an audience can relate to, but he has aura, and as a certified hood weeb nationalist, that matters a lot. Also, him just straight up ending Lisa was hilarious. As a viewer, I wanted a good fight, but as a misogynist, I fucking loved it. Now, Joseph versus Cars, it's okay. Compared to the other seasons, it's nothing too special, but at the same time, I thought it was fine. Cars being unbeatable and Joseph having to figure out a way to still somehow win is a great summary of his character. Yeah, but sending Cars into space was just pretty underwhelming. In a reimagining of the story, I feel like if they switched Lisa and Caesar, the story could have been a lot better because again, Joseph just carries the entire season on his back, and the side characters after Caesar didn't do much for me. Araki did a very good job connecting part 1 and 2, which not a lot of people give him credit for. If you think the Pillarmen came out of nowhere and was a bit random, which I see a lot of people say, did you not pay any fucking attention to the anime? The Stone Mask was a huge part of Phantom Blood, and the origins of the mask in the Stone of Aya was a fucking fantastic plot. Araki has said that the anime wasn't what he imagined, and he regrets a lot of Battle Tendency's adaptation, but I think it was fine, and if you watch part 1 and 2 together, which is what Netflix and Crunchyroll do, the storyline's fantastic, and the continuation's very natural. That's all I gotta say about it. Let's get into the rankings. Battle Tendency is a great sequel, where some characters felt a bit rushed, and even though the villains were kinda mid, the fights were still some of the best in the entire series. But let's stop yapping and get right into the rankings. Out of every part of JoJo, Part 2, Battle Tendency is easily the best, and it's only fair that it receives the official stamped JellohLuvr score of, drumroll please, 9.2 out of 10. Out of every part, it's the most complete, the most enjoyable, and the funniest, which is arguably the most important. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and leave a comment to help boost the channel, especially because YouTube didn't seem to like the last video's title very much, but that's going to be talked about in the next video. If you're not subscribed, what the fuck are you even doing with your life? Just commit already and become a lover. That's all from me today, and as always, take care.
闇を欺いて切なを交わして刃すり抜け奴らの隙をつけ貫いた